Hello and welcome to the first sports recap where I'm going to just go over some sports news from the current week. If possible, I'm going to try to make this a weekly thing, but with my college schedule, we'll have to see what happens with that. Up first, I'm going to talk about some NFL news. The NFL regular season just ended this previous weekend, and that means that this is the time of year where bad head coaches get fired. For the most part, guys that were expected to get fired were Matt Nagy and Mike Zimmer were both fired from their respective teams, but the big surprise was the Dolphins deciding to part ways with Brian Flores after just 3 seasons. My roommate is a Dolphins fan, so I've gotten to hear about this situation quite a bit since it happened. He thinks that Flores was fired due to the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross and Brian Flores not liking each other very much, but conspiracies aside, it seemed like the reason that the Dolphins were trying to push for firing Flores is that he was 24 and 25 in 3 seasons. Personally, I don't think that that's fair and I don't like this move, because if that is the real reason, you shouldn't really count his first year as the head coach. That Miami team in 2019 wasn't his team. He didn't put it together, and I don't think there's a coach in the NFL that could have made the 2019 Miami Dolphins work. Another interesting thing that happened with the head coaches in the NFL is that the Giants, on the day where everyone was supposed to be firing their head coaches, openly said that they would not fire head coach Joe Judge. They must have wanted New York Giants fans to hate their lives for a day, because one day later, the Giants made the right decision and fired Joe Judge. More NFL news: after narrowly making the playoffs, Steelers quarterback Big Ben had some thoughts that he felt he needed to express before the big playoff game against the Chiefs. Quote, "Out of the 14 teams that are in, we are probably number 14. We're probably not a very good football team." And he followed that up by saying, quote, "We don't have a chance, so let's just go in there and have fun." And I'm not going to hate on Ben for saying this, because he's probably right, but the way he says all this reminds me of my youth football coaches telling us that we're all winners as long as we had fun after we just lost 35-0. Moving over to college football, this Monday Georgia managed to pull out a win against Alabama in the national championship. As someone who's not a fan of either team, I can confidently say I didn't care who won. But whether I like them or not, the Georgia Bulldogs did put an end to their 40-year national championship drought, so props to them. Now into MLB news. No progress has been made on the lockout and nothing has changed. Let's move on. Now over to the NBA. Klay Thompson made his return this week. In his first game since 2019, he shot 7 of 18 and 3 of 8 from 3-point for 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. The Warriors did only hold him to 20 minutes for his first game, so we'll have to see how Klay will perform when he's getting starter minutes. Kyrie Irving, however, did get starter minutes in his return to the court, where he had 32 minutes for 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists on 9 of 17 shooting, but did not make any of his 3-point shots. Now is going to be the part where I go over less notable news very quickly from any of the leagues. Starting out, former second-round pick Geno Smith was arrested on suspicion of a DUI. Next, some NFL teams are targeting Jim Harbaugh as a head coach candidate. Over in the NBA, Atlanta power forward John Collins is reportedly unhappy with his role with the Hawks. Back to the NFL, former Ravens safety Eric Weddle is coming out of retirement to sign with the Rams. And finally, for probably the 70th week in a row, the Miami Dolphins are still targeting Deshaun Watson. And that's going to be it for the recap. These probably aren't going to be very long because I'm not going to go super in depth. If there's a story that's very interesting, I'll just make a separate video about it. This is just going to be laying out kind of what's happened during the week. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, like the video. Leave a comment if there's a story that you do want me to talk about that I might have missed. And like I said, hopefully I will be able to make this a weekly series.